Hello, I'm Mrs. J, and today in Module 10 and 11 we're going to work with the parabolas. This first one is when the parabola is in the vertex form. And when it is in this form, your vertex comes right from H and K. Notice H is the opposite. And so they want us to graph it using 5 points. Write the equation. So the vertex comes from here. This is the opposite sign, so it's 1, and this is the same sign, so it's -4. So we have 1 and -4. And then they want 2 points on each side, so 1, 0, -1, 1, 2, 3. You can plug them in and get your values. So if we plug in 3 times a -1 minus 1 squared minus 4. -2, 4, 12. Okay, so if we plug in, just a check, 1's -4. Plug in -1, we get 8. 3 times 0 minus 1 squared minus 4 equals -1. Plugging in 2, equals a -1. And 3 gives us 8. -4. So we go 1, -4, and then 0, -1, -1, 2, 4, 6, 8. And then 2, -1, 3, 8. And there's your parabola. Try one more. Three times x plus 5 squared minus 1. First thing, find the vertex. Opposite, -5, same, -1. -5, -1. Going the one way, -6, -7. Go the other way, -4, -3. And we're going to plug those in. 5 minus 1. Okay, so plugging in -7, we get 11. Plugging in -6, we get 2. Plugging in -5, we get -1. -4. We get 2. And the last one, we should get 11. and then we graph it. -5, -1, -6, 2, -4, 2, -7, 11. And it looks like that. The other one, rewriting a quadratic. So these ones, you start with this, you rewrite it, and then you do the same thing we just did. So we have -2x squared plus 4x plus 3. And they want us to rewrite it in a times x minus h squared plus k in the vertex form. So to do that, we have to complete the square. And we have to factor the 2 out. So we're going to take out this -2. We'll have x squared minus 2x. So I'm pulling the 3 over here. I need to complete the square, but I also need to pull the -2 out. If I pull a -2 from here, I have just x squared. Pulling it from here, I have a -2x. Then we complete the square. You divide by 2 and get a -1 squared. -1 squared is 1. But this 1 has to be times this -2. So -1 squared is 1 times the -2. This is the -2 that we're putting here. Since we're adding a -2 on the same side, we need to add a +2. Because we're on the same side of the equal sign. So -1 squared times this is a -2. If I have a -2, I need a +2, so they'll cancel. Because we're on the same side of the equal sign. So then we have our x minus 1 squared plus 5. And then you find the vertex. Vertex is 1, 5. And then you plug in 0, -1, and 2 and 3. So -2 minus 1 plus 5. Plug in -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. You get a -3, 3, 5, 3, -3. And then you just graph it. So 6, 1, 5, 0, 3, -1, -3. Two, 3. So that's 3, -3. There you go. So you have to complete the square. I'm going to do 2 more complete in the square, but I'm not going to do the whole graphing because it's all repeating. Let's do 2 more. Okay. 2x squared plus 8x plus 3. So when we have this one, again, we want to get it into a times x minus h squared plus k. So in order to do that, you need to complete the square and factor this 2 out because that's your a. So we're going to pull that 2 out, and then we're going to leave the plus 3 here, and we're going to have to add something here and here. And we pull the 2 from here, we're left with an x squared. Pulling 2 from 8, we have 4x. Now you complete the square. We divide this by 2 and get a positive 2 squared. 2 squared is 4, times this 2 is 8. So this is 4 times 2 is 8. That means we're adding 8 to this side. Well, we have to subtract 8 to keep it balanced. So we have 2 times x plus 2 squared minus 5. Vertex is -2, -5, and then you plug in the points. Let's try another one. So this one's g of x, -3x squared minus 30x minus 74. Okay. So again, they want us to get it in this form. We're going to pull out the -3, move the 74 over here so we can complete the square. When we pull the -3 out, we're left with an x squared. Pulling -3 from here, we have a positive 10x, and then we're going to complete the square. To complete the square, we divide by 2. We get a positive 5 squared, which is 25 times 3 is a -75. So 5 times 5 is 25 times -3 is a -75. We are subtracting 75 here. So we need to add 75 because we're on the same side as the equal sign. So whatever you do the opposite so they would cancel. -3 times x plus 5 squared plus 1 is our function. Your vertex -5, 1, and then just plug in the values again. I think we should do one more. That's the same one. Okay, that's different. -3x squared plus 18x minus 25. So to get it into the vertex form, we need to pull the -3 out. We're moving the minus 25 over here, and we're going to add something or subtract to it. Pulling out a -3, we have x squared. 18 divided by -3 is a -6x, and then we're going to complete the square. Dividing by 2, -6 divided by 2 is 3. It's a -3, and we're going to square it. -3 squared is 9 times this -3 is a -27. So we are subtracting 27 here. That means we need to add 27. So we have negative 3x minus 3 squared plus 2. Vertex is 3, 2, and then plot your points. Okay, rewriting. Okay, write the equation of a quadratic function from its graph. Okay. Find the equation of the quadratic function whose graph is shown. Now remember that y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. They're giving us the vertex, negative 2, 3, and a point, negative 5, 12. So first we're going to plug in the vertex. We have y equals a times x minus a negative 2 plus 3. Y equals a times x plus 2 squared plus 3. We need to find a. Well, that's what the other point does for us. This is our x and our y. This was h and k. So over here, we're going to plug in our y, which is 12, and our x, which was a negative 5. So we have 12 equals a times negative 3 squared plus 3. 12 equals negative 3 squared is 9a plus 3. Subtract the 3. And divide by 9. A equals 1. So y equals, you don't have to show the 1, x plus 2 squared plus 3. And that's your equation. Let's try another one. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay. They give us the vertex and a point. The vertex was 2, negative 4, and the point is 3, negative 1. Plug in your vertex first. X minus 2 squared minus 4. Then we need to find a. Y is negative 1. A times 3 minus 2 squared minus 4. This is 1. 1 squared is 1, so we have a minus 4. Adding the 4 over, we have a equals 3. And so we plug our 3 in. One more. Okay, so our vertex is negative 2, 4. And our point Negative 513. Why does that sound so familiar? Okay, it's close. Negative 513. Y equals A times, plugging in the vertex, x plus 2 squared plus 4. Then we plug in our x and y. 13 equals A times negative 5 plus 2 squared plus 4. So negative 3 squared is 9A plus 4. So A is 1. Since it's 1, you don't have to show it. Graphing a parabola, y equals ax squared. Graphing a parabola, here it is. Okay, so they want us to graph the same way we did before, but they want us to find the point differently. Rather than completing the square, we can find it in this form, standard form. Y equals 3x squared minus 18x plus 23. So remember, when it's in this form, we can find the vertex. X equals a negative b over 2a. So negative times a negative 18 over 2 times 3, which is 18 divided by 6, or 3. To find the y value, you plug it back in. 3 times 3 squared minus 18 times 3 plus 23 equals y. Three, 27 minus 18 times 3 plus 23 is a negative 4. So it's 3, negative 4, and then we plug in points. 2, 1, 4, 5. 3x squared minus 18x plus 23. 1, 2. So we plug in 1. And 2. And then you plug in your values. So you're doing the same thing we did before, except you're finding the vertex using negative b over 2a. And then you plot your points. 3, negative 4. 2, negative 1. And then 1, 8. And there's your graph. do one more. I think you're okay plotting them. Well, we'll do the whole thing. Okay. So x equals a negative b over 2a to find the x value of the vertex. Negative times a negative 20 over 2 times a negative 2 is a negative 5. So we have negative 5, negative 6, and negative 7, negative 4, and negative 3. Y is negative 2x squared minus 20x minus 53. All right. Yep. Okay. Negative 7. Okay, so when you plug these into the original, I'm going to plug only the 1 in. You get a negative 11. If you plug in negative 6, you get a negative 5. Then you get a negative 3, negative 5, negative 11. And then you plot those points. And I think you're okay plotting them, but this one goes down. So negative 7, negative 11, 5, oops, 6, negative 3, and there we go.